Hello and welcome to Jingle and Jam. I'm so glad that you can join us today. To get started, we're going to navigate a little bit about how to find all of our 12 days of learning, and then we're going to get started with our topic for today, which is Jingle and Jam. So if you would like to join any of our other 12 days of learning, if you go to our Carbon High Intermediate Ready PD site, you can see all our calendar of events that are listed there. All of our professional development opportunities are right there for you, so you can join us with other things that we are doing. We have our 12 days of learning scheduled on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of next week. We have a bunch of different reading things. We also have one on Thursday as well. All of our professional development opportunities are right here for you. But today we're going to be exploring the Jingle and Jam. I'll put it into the chat. If you go to bit.ly/12 days Jingle Jam, you will see the slide deck for today's presentation. My name is Christin Adams, and I am a staff development facilitator at the Carbon Lehigh Intermediate Unit. And I'm thrilled to be with you today. And we are here as a resource for you and your school. However, we can best help you. If there's anything that you hear today that you have questions about that you cannot ask me during this session, or if you would like to reach out to us, my email is adamc@cliu.org. Today, we're going to explore Jamboard. So what is a Google Jamboard? Jamboard is a collective collaboration tool that you can use online, just as you would use a whiteboard in the classroom. You could use this interactive whiteboard and give students a space to think collaboratively and creatively. It also allows you to have multiple students responding at the same time. So think about how you could use Google Jamboard in your classroom. I know there's a variety of different ways. When we use our professional development, it's a great way to gauge how everyone's doing at the beginning of a professional development workshop. We have that right there, and we ask people to jam along with us. So to get started, what you want to do is you want to go to your Google. So go to your main Google, and when you get there, you'll see the little waffle or the grid, whatever you like to call it, in the upper right-hand corner, and that's where you can find your Google Apps. If you click on your Google Apps and scroll down, you should see the one that says Jamboard. If you don't have access to this, just contact your Google Suite administrator and they can add this app for you. To make a Jamboard, go to the bottom right-hand corner where you see the plus sign. Click on the plus sign, and that's where you will create your Jamboard. There's a whole host of different ways to create Jamboards using the tools on the left-hand side. As you can see, there's a pen option, erase, select, sticky note, add an image, circle, text box, or the laser. So if you are going to get started, you can title your Jamboard however you would like it. So we can do Jingle and Jam, so that's what we're doing today. And that's how you would start getting it set up, adding the title. And you then want to share your Jamboard. So right now, as you can click on it and see, that it's only for certain people. You could change the access to if you want to use your organization only or anyone with the link. Now, if you want to jam with me today, what I would have to do is I would have to add you as an editor. And when I add you as an editor, you will be able to access this link. So you'll copy the link and you'll send it to whoever you want to jam with you. So for today, I can type that right into the chat for you so you can try this Jamboard with us. And once you do that, you will then have access to the Jamboard and you'll be able to log in here and add your own. So you could add hello, your greeting. You could ask everyone to insert a sticky note. You can add an image. We'll stay with our hello theme. Oh, look, here's Hello Kitty. Who doesn't love Hello Kitty? We'll put Hello Kitty in since we're talking about hello. You could add your own text box as it appears down here. Use the laser. As you can see, it disappears. So all of your students could work collaboratively on this Jamboard, or you can create alternate Jamboards and allow different groups to work on different Jamboards. So I could have a group of students working on Jamboard 1. I could have a group of students working on Jamboard 2, and they're all on that same Jamboard. So you can help monitor and figure out where your students are, if they're stuck or need help. So how to start jamming, you're going to go to, just to recap, go up to your Google waffle. So when you're in Google, you're going to select the one that says Jamboard. And then once you're in the Jamboard, you're going to click on the bottom right-hand corner to create a jam, your new jam. So title it. You're going to want to share it. So change the access for the link to whoever you want to share it to, or keep it restricted if you just want it for the students that are in your classroom. You're going to also change the access in terms of who you would like, how you would like them to be able to access it. Do you want them as a viewer, so they're going to be watching you, or would you like them as an editor? So once you have that, the link is now ready, copied and ready for you to go to share with your classroom. So today we're going to look at a couple popular Jamboard ideas. This is an amazing Wakelet, and I left the link in if you click on the bit.ly and you're in that link. This is somebody that has already created a Wakelet that has all these different ideas for using Jamboards. So feel free to use that. But let's get started today with our sticky notes. So here's how to say hello, a quick, easy one. And to insert a sticky note, you're going to go to the right hand or the left hand side, and you're going to click on a sticky note. As you can see, you can choose the sticky note in any color that you feel like you would like to use. Let's go with our festive one and type the word hello. As soon as you type in whatever you want in your sticky note, then go ahead and click save. And that will allow the sticky note to pop on the screen. You could be monitoring them. If you want to delete any of them, you just delete them. You could change them however you feel like would be best. You can delete them. If you click on the three dots, you can see edit, duplicate, or delete. So you could edit, go in and edit it. You can go in and duplicate it, or you can go in and delete it. So that's how you use the sticky note. You could also use shapes to highlight. So this is a great one if you're talking about parts of speech with your classroom. So here is a sentence that you can dissect with your classroom, and maybe you want to do that. You use Control-D on your keyboard to duplicate any of the boxes. So Control-D. And then you would have a box for your, and you would just drag it over the noun. And you would highlight the different parts of speech. So you could use that for noun, verb, adjective, preposition. You could also simplify this and differentiate it by taking out different parts of the sentences. So you could delete, let's say you already talked about the noun, so you don't want them to do that. You could differentiate the slide deck in that way. You could have them work in groups, and you could have a group 3 working on, if you see at the top, it says 3 out of 5. You could have them working in that frame. And that's how you could have a bunch of different groups working collaboratively together, or you could use it in your small group. Your number 1s work on Jamboard 1, your number 2s work on Jamboard 2. You could differentiate the activity by deleting or adding. Maybe you have a student who can't read that sentence and you want to simplify that sentence. Maybe you want a student who's more advanced, you want to give them multiple sentences to highlight parts of speech. So here's the next one, add text and annotate. This is similar to what we talked about before. Remember, if you're going to duplicate something, you hit Control-D, and that will duplicate the box for you, and then you can drag it. And let's say you want the students for red Use red for a sentence you have doubts about. So maybe you want them to annotate the text as they're reading. Like, I wasn't sure when I was reading this. And they could box it out. You could even have them add a question with a sticky note, like, what did the author mean by this? Or what did the author say? Or however you want to do that. And they could put a little note for you and you could follow along with them. As you can see, this is done 5 times. So this could be used for 5 different students, 5 different groups. There's many ways that you can use Jamboard in your classroom. So this is just the one way for highlight and annotate. You could use 4 corners. And this is a great way to get started or warm up. As in a traditional classroom, you would label your corners, corner A, B, C, D. Virtually or in person, we don't want all the students mingling that close together. So you could pose a question, or you could ask students where they are on that continuum and have them write a sticky note with their name. Are you A, B, C, D? So this would be a way to do the 4 corners activity. The nice thing is once you create a Jamboard, you could use that Jamboard again. So maybe that's a standard Jamboard that you want to start your lesson with. Maybe you want them to, you're practicing a PSSA type question with 4 different answer choices, and you can have them. Do you think the answer is A? Do you think the answer is B, C, D? The possibilities are endless. Pick one and vote is another one that I thought would be useful for your classroom. So what kind of food do you like best for dinner? Drop a small sticky with your name. So this is similar to the 4 corners, but you could have images. So which one would I want for dinner? Probably a salad. So drag and drop your name there. You can turn them around. You can make them smaller, bigger, whatever you want to do. You could have all the students' names if they're younger students, or their numbers, however you like to use it in your class. You could have them ready to go, and all they would have to do is drag and drop. So you can shrink the images a little bit of what you're working on. You could have the students' names already in there. If you did it one time, you could actually copy this Jamboard again. So let's say you start with a slide deck and you have all of your students' names already pre-filled in there. Every time you get to that slide and you want to use your entire class again, you could just make a copy of that by going up to the upper right-hand corner where the 3 dots are and make a copy. So you could make one with all of your students' names on it, and you could start your class with something like, which is your favorite candy, and have the images. All you have to do is change the images. They could drag their name to the spot where you would like them to be. Storytelling is another Jamboard that you can use in your classroom. And this is where you can import a story. You could have students read through a story or an activity. You could have them talk about it. You could have them add to the story. You could remember when we annotated it, you could have them do that. You could add a sticky note where they have a question. You could ask them to add another image of an amusement park or a Ferris wheel. Their possibilities are endless on Jamboard. You could use it as a brain break. So the Jot Spot is a great way to have students. You can even have them all jotting in the same thing. So let's say you have a bunch of students. You could say, I want you to put their name where you want them to write, and then they can get the tool and start writing on that box. You could break them into 4 quadrants and have each person in a different box. That would be another way to use a quick brain break called the Jot Spot. So just a few reminders and tips when using Jamboards. Remember that you can force a copy for your students. To do that, what you want to do is go up to the very top. You want to highlight everything to the /, write the word copy. When you add that to any of your Google documents, it will force it to make a copy. As you can see, when it forces it to make a copy and they open it back up, that could be theirs to explore and work on. So that's one tip I have for you today when using any Google applications, and that can be used in Jamboard as well. When you're using Jamboard, make sure that when you're adding a new thing, you find that plus button. Make sure that you're changing the editing of it. So when you want to go to share the link for your Jamboard, you want to change whoever you want to access that. And then you also want to change if you want them just viewing it. So if you're going to be putting a story out there that you want them to read, maybe you want them just viewing that story. And the editor would mean they can add whatever they want to go with it. So if you want to download it for an app for Apple or Android, you can do that as well. So when you're adding a new one, make sure you're clicking on the bottom right-hand corner like we showed that you can add a new one when you're in Jamboard. So when you go to Google, and just to recap, go to the waffle, scroll down to the applications, find the Jamboard. You're going to add a Jamboard with the plus sign in the bottom right-hand corner, and then you're going to start jamming. Change any of the features to share. Copy the link. Change who you'd like to share it with, like I said. If you want an editor, that's great as well. Copy the link and you're done. You're ready to jam. So in conclusion, there's so many ways that you can use Jamboard. Take a look at that Wakelet as well. She has a fabulous ideas that you can just file copy and use in your classroom. But thank you so much for joining us today for Jingle and Jam. It was great having you. And I hope that you can take some of these ideas back to your classroom. After this presentation, I'll stay on. If you have any further questions, feel free to let me know. So now go Jingle and Jam with your classroom. Thank you.